Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm going to do my part 3 of my manga haul for November. So yeah, it is very late, but you know, life gets in the way and I'm doing it now. So let's just ignore the fact that this is from November, and hopefully it's not going to take me 2 months to post this video. We will see. I already did 2 November hauls. I had a very large and successful manga collecting month in November. The first haul was all secondhand titles that I got at a local sale. The second haul was all of the new titles, mostly pre-orders that I got off of Right Stuff and Amazon. And then this haul is going to be all of the single issues that I won off of eBay. I won this all in one sale, and it was kind of a gamble. Basically, I was just playing around on eBay. I wasn't looking to buy, but I came across this sale and they said 350 single issues of manga, no doubles. That's basically how it was described. They didn't really say what was in the haul. They did have pictures, but the pictures were quite grainy, so you could only see like a handful of titles that were in like the whole thing. And I was like, I'll just throw like a really low ball bid. Someone else is going to outbid me for sure. I'm not going to worry about it. And, you know, so a couple days after the auction had finished, I realized that I had won this thing. So nobody else bid on it, which is a little bit of a surprise, but I can understand considering that the photo quality was not that great. Or that you didn't really know what it was that you were going to win. I personally think it was a gamble that paid off because there's some really cool titles in here, which I will show you now. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and you can check it out. There were some doubles in, even though they said there was no doubles. I can understand there's 350 titles here. So there are a handful of doubles. I'm not going to show you the doubles, but I will show you everything else, and enjoy. The first title I got in this stack is Mai the Psychic Girl by Kazuya Kudo and Ryoichi Ikega. So I have issue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 22, a little bit out of order, 25, 26, and 27. And I don't think 27 is the last issue. There's a little bit more, but so it's a pretty good chunk of this particular collection. It's a really great title, and definitely if you ever have an opportunity to pick it up, you really should do so. It is one of the first, if not the first, manga that was released in North America. So significant title, also really great story and gorgeous art. So highly recommend it. I'm really glad that this was in this particular lot. It was one of the titles that I did see in the picture and recognize, so I was interested in picking it up regardless, but I didn't know how many volumes or anything like that, so really glad to have this one. So the next group of comics are all from Rumiko Takahashi. They're just sort of like a variety of manga. I don't think I have anything here that is like complete, and yeah, I'm not really sure. There's quite a few, but it's very random. So the first selection are from her Mermaid Saga series, and there's a number of different titles. So Mermaid Forest, 2, 3, Mermaid Promise, 1, 2, and 3, Mermaid's Gaze, 1, 2, 3, Mermaid's Mask, 1, Mermaid's Scar, 2, 3, 4. And that's it for the Mermaid Saga. Then I have Lum by Urusei Yatsura. This one is a little bit different. It's got a thicker book, so it's a little bit bigger than a single issue. But I have 1, 2, and 3, and that's all I have for Lum. But I also got Return of Lum, and these are more thin single magazine types. So I have 4 and 5. The next set are from Maison Ikoku. This is issue 1, 3, 5, part 2, 3, part 3, 2, part 4, 2, part 4, 3, part 4, 9, and part 6, 2. So really random volumes, definitely doesn't come close to complete that series. And then the last from her is Ranma half. So I have issue 8, 9, 11, 13, and part 4, 1, part 4, 2, and part 4, 5. So again, not very complete, but Ranma half you can really kind of pick up at any particular place. There isn't a lot of worry about having gaps in that collection. I'm just kind of happy to have a little selection from Rumiko Takahashi. Next I have Silent Mobius by Kia Asamiya, and again just some very random little issues. So this is part 2, 2, part 2, 4, part 3, 4, part 4, 2, and part 4, 3. So just a couple of issues. Next I have a title that I have never seen before, and it's called Outlanders, and it's by Joji Manabe. This is published by Dark Horse Comics, and truly I haven't seen this before. It kind of looks like crazy fantasy manga a la Slayers, so something kind of like late 80s-ish style. Just kind of looks really silly and fun, but I don't know anything about it, so definitely if you've read it, I would love to hear about it. So I have Epilogue 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, and 28. And like I said before, I have no knowledge of this story at all. Would love any information if you know about it already. And it kind of looks fun and the art looks kind of cute, but apart from that, I have no knowledge of it, and I didn't know that this was in the lot, so this is kind of a surprise title for me. So the next title I have here is The Venus Wars by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. This series I had never heard of either, and it's completely new to me, and I wasn't aware of it when I bought this lot. But the cover art is quite nice, so I'm looking forward to getting into it and just seeing what it looks like. I don't know how long the series is again, and I don't really know too much about it, so certainly if you have any information that would be great. But I do have quite a lot of issues in sequence, so it might at least be easy to start reading. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 12. And the art looks really, really great, so I'm kind of looking forward to looking at it more closely, but again, I have no idea what it's about. So this is Ganbear's Fantastic Panic, and it looks a little bit like an OEL title. But the first issue that I have sitting there is copyright to Satoru Yamasaki, so I'm assuming that this is a Japanese originated manga, but again, another title that I don't know too much about. The art inside is quite bold and really cartoony. Looks a little bit more like a kid's cartoon, but you know, of course I don't know anything about it yet, so we will find out, and certainly when I read these titles I will talk about them again. But you know, I would like to collect a little bit more of some of them before I do read them. Anyway, this is issue 3. I have issue 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So just a short little selection there. Next I have a couple issues of Dirty Pair. This one is Sunrise Animation Film Comics, so they are actually more like screen caps with captions, and they're full color. So they're a little bit different than, you know, drawn manga. I think they're just screen caps from the anime, but I have a couple issues. These ones are also a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit more like a book rather than a magazine. So I have issue 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm not entirely sure, you know, where this is screen capping from, if it's from, you know, an OVA, or if it's from, you know, TV series, or, you know, what edition of Dirty Pair is it coming from. So definitely more investigation is needed, and, you know, if you know, it would be great if you just told me, because that would make my life easier. But it looks like cute little books, and they're in pretty nice condition. So so this next Dirty Pair is actually not manga, although it is inspired by manga. It is a story by Adam Warren and Torrance Smith. based on characters and situations created by Haruka Takahashi. So it's a little bit different. It's not actually direct from Japan. It's sort of inspired by Japanese comics, or possibly even the anime. I'm not entirely sure. But the art looks pretty nice, and hopefully it'll hold up. I'm not entirely sure about it, but it's kind of a weird, fun thing to have in my collection. So I have issue 1 of 5 and issue 2 of 5. And then I have Dirty Pair 2 by the same authors, and this is number 5 of 5. So there's not quite in the same series, but it is the same authors. Then I have a little bit of Dirty Pair Sim Hell, and again, this is not a manga, but it's got a little bit different authors. So this one is story and art by Adam Warren, so it doesn't have a partner writing this with him, and it's still based on characters by Haruko Takahashi. So, Dirty Pair Sim Hell, that's 1 of 4, 2 of 4, and 4 of 4. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about these kind of titles, because it really isn't manga. It's, taking manga characters and remaking them. If you've read any titles like this, I'd really like to know what you thought about them. And certainly, if you have read Dirty Pair by these authors, I'd love to know, especially if you've read anything else by these authors that is not manga inspired. So that would also be really interesting to me, because I'm not familiar with these artists outside of Dirty Pair, which I haven't read yet, so, there you go. So this is another title that I don't know anything about. It is story and art by Joji Manabe, which is someone I've already mentioned before. This is Caravan Kid. So I have issues 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, holiday special, and then part 2. So I have part 2, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, and part 3, 1, 2, 4, and 7. And again, this looks like one of those mid-80s kind of crazy fantasy, adventure stories. So, apart from that, I couldn't tell you anything about it. Certainly, if you've read this series, please let me know below. I would love to talk to you about it. I got this single issue of Nostrawber, which I hadn't heard of before. This is by Joe Duffy and Maya Sakamoto. It certainly looks like an OEL title, and it's a little bit different. It's not fully art, so if you actually look at it, there's some art in the beginning, but by the time you get to the end, there's actually storytelling through text. It looks like a different kind of title, and I'm not sure about it, but I only have 1 issue, and that's okay with me. I got another OEL, or actual, I think this is more comic book. I wouldn't even call this an OEL title. This is by Fred Perry and Scott Alston, and it's called Starjacks. And it looks like, anthropomorphized foxes or something fighting. Not particularly something that I'm into. I probably will be getting rid of this volume. But I have some better titles. Next is Xenon Heavy Metal Warrior. This is by Masaomi Kanzaki. I have a couple issues. I don't have the full thing, but it does look like something I would actually like reading. So that's that's issue 1. I have issue 2. Then it jumps to issue 11, 12, 13. That looks like a great cover. 14, 15. That one, he's got a little bit of a strange face there for me. And 16, which looks pretty nice. So this one actually might be pretty good. I think it has something to do with like high school and cyborgs. That's sort of the general gist of it was from flipping through. The next title that I got is Cyber 7. This is by Shiho Itahashi. It does look like an original manga, so not something I've ever heard of before, but the art is very unique. Definitely has an older look to it, and I'm definitely interested in looking through this manga. It just looks very, very unusual and kind of surreal. So I have issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Book 2, these are all Book 2, the rest called Rockland, that's the subheading. So I have issue 1 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see this is a really different style than any kind of modern manga that we see. I have no idea about this author, I have no idea about this title, but this one really intrigues me, and definitely if I had seen it in stores today, it would be something that I would want to pick up and read. So it totally looks up my alley. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next I got a single issue of Grendel Tales, 4 Devils, 1 Hell by James Robinson and Teddy H. Christensen. So definitely not manga. The style inside is not manga. There's nothing manga about this. Definitely is not going to be staying in my collection unless someone can convince me to keep it. It does not look like my style at all. So that's fine. There's bound to be mishaps when you have a collection this large. But to make up for it, I got issues of Justy by Tsuguo Okazaki. This has really great looking art in it. So this title makes up for the previous title. It looks like a really good one. So this is issue 1, and on the cover, actually, on the back, all of them say Justy with the main character, and just sort of a combination of colors. So this one is yellow and red on the back, and they all just sort of a variety of that. So it's kind of they're nice looking covers. This one is supposed to be from the mid-80s, I think. Obviously, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about most of these titles. But if you look at the art, there is something about the art that looks a little bit older than the 80s. Like, it sort of looks transitional, like more maybe Leiji Matsumoto or Osamu Tezuka in some of the drawings. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think it'll be quite a nice read, but obviously did not get very many of this, so I will be looking for more. And actually the issues that I got of this one are not in the best condition, so I may have to just replace them altogether, but still kind of makes up for the other one. So I have issue 2, issue 3, 5, and 6. And this next title is a real surprise to me. I did not expect to see this. This is Pineapple Army by Kazuya Kudo and Naoki Urasawa. So Kazuya Kudo is the author of My the Psychic Girl, and Naoki Urasawa, of course, is quite well known in the manga community. The author of Monster and 20th Century Boys, among like so many other titles. The cover art is absolutely amazing, so surreal, so captivating. These are the kind of works of art you would want to be hanging up in your home, or at least there's something that I would want to hang up in my home. I don't know if these are actually works of art by Urasawa, because it just does not scream his name. Definitely the contents look like his art. You know, you can't mistake his drawings. He just has a distinct style. But I really, really love these covers. Anyway, I did end up getting a couple issues of Pineapple Army, so that was a total surprise. Did not expect that in this lot. So I have 2, 4, 5, 8, and 9. So that was pretty cool. Next I got version 2.6. This is by Hisashi Sakaguchi. Of course, nothing I do not know about this. It is not familiar. I don't really know. It looks maybe a little bit supernatural. Maybe about space. I couldn't even tell you. I only have 2 issues of it, so I have 2.6 and 2.7. That's all I have. Probably not enough to really know what's going on. The next, I have a single issue of Ghost in the Shell. This is issue 4 of 8. This one is by Masamune Shiro, which of course you probably know. And there are a couple color pages in the front. So there's some nice color pages just in the first few pages of this series. So that's quite nice. And next I have a single issue of Gojin by Kazuho Takizawa and Yutaka Kondo. And this one again is another one with a little bit different art. It really almost takes the art style from more traditional painting, just sort of some of the style of it, or it looks more like an OEL. It's got a lot of really heavy cross-hatching for texture, so it looks really different. I've never heard of it before, so it'll be an interesting thing to look through. Next I have a single issue of Golden Warrior Icer 1. Iczer, never heard of it. This is by Hirano Toshiro and Moriki Yasuhiro. I think that's what it is. It's hard to read upside down. And this one is a mature reader, so if you flip through, there's lots of naked bits. Apart from that, I don't know a whole lot. Next I have some issues of Sillbuster. This is by Iko Sahara. I have issue 3, 4, 12. And it's really interesting looking at these. Like, they really, you can tell they're all from the same era. They all have kind of similar art styles, and they all have, you know, like the same kind of fantasy robots and, you know, crazy hairdos and things. So just really interesting seeing these things together in context. The next title I have, I'm not entirely sure this one actually is manga. This is by Ippongi Bang, and it's F3 Bandit. And again, another title that's for mature audiences, but it kind of has an art style that's maybe not quite as similar to the others, and so I have a feeling it could potentially be an OEL. It's hard to identify some of these things. Then I have a couple issues of Street Fighter. This is the premiere issue by Masaomi Kanzaki. This is the second title I think that I've showed you by Masaomi Kanzaki, so Street Fighter 2, and it's issue 1 and issue 2. So that's nice. It's nice to start at the beginning. But that's all I have of that series. I don't know how long it is. So this is probably the most annoying title that I have in this haul. I'm actually quite annoyed with it. And not because, you know, this is erotic comics, but more so because somebody thought to classify this as manga, and it's just like, why? And why did you give me so many? Like, this is obviously not a mistake. You gave these to me because you didn't know anyone else who would take them, so you kind of just slipped them into a, you know, giant lot of manga because no one could see what the pictures were. So yeah, I'm totally unimpressed with this. But I'm going to show you all the titles anyway because I have them, and yeah, if I can somehow figure out how to get rid of these in a nice way, I will do that. So this is Omaha the Cat Dancer by Reed Waller and Kate Worley. If you can convince me to keep this title though, I am all ears. I'm mostly just annoyed that, you know, someone thought that this was manga. It's just the format of it and the art in it, and it just does not look like something I want to read. So, yeah. Anyway, I have issue 0. This is number 2, number 3, number 6, number 8, number 9, number 11, and then this is volume 2, number 3, and number 4. I think maybe I just don't really want to read erotic comics that have animals as characters. Like, I find it more disturbing. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that's in my collection now. But we can erase visions of that with a significantly more exciting title, and that is Kamui. So I ended up getting a bunch of Kamui, and this is probably the reason that I bid on this auction to begin with, is because I did notice that there were titles in here. Didn't know how many. It actually looks like a pretty decent haul. You know, I will have to fill in some holes, but I think that won't be too hard. So this is by Sanpei Shirato, and this again is one of the first titles that came over to North America, so I'm really happy to get it, and most of these issues look like they're in pretty good condition. So I have issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I really like that art, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. So it's actually a pretty decent haul. I don't really know how much of it I have, but definitely have a couple to fill in. So, but the cover art looks really great. The inside art is quite nice as well. You know, really lots of action, kind of what you would expect from a, you know, older samurai manga. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that finally. And we're getting near the end. Just 2 more titles to go. The next one is another title I'm really happy to own. I was actually looking at it on another site at the same time as bidding on this. Didn't know this was in the lot, so yeah, I'm going to pick up the missing volumes. This is an anime that I have seen in the past, but it was such a great anime and I highly recommend it. Certainly if you haven't seen it, you should. So anyway, this is Area 88 by Karo Shintani, and I have quite a bit of it, so I'm really happy about that, and they all look like they're in pretty good shape. So I have issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I really love this cover, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then a big jump, 24, and that one is another cover that I really like. And then, of course, I saved the best for last, and I'm most happy to have this, and I was most surprised to see this in the collection. I wasn't even aware of these before I got them in this haul, so I'm really, really happy about it. And that is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. So I got a number of different issues. They sort of look like they're from 2 different sets. So these ones are a little bit thicker, they're more like books or like a thick magazine. And the art, you know, it's just the black and white art from the manga, but it's a nice publication with a matte finish and quite a thick cover, so it looks like it's in quite good condition. It starts at part 2, so this is part 2-1, part 2-2, like amazing cover. Part 3, or part 2, 3, and 4, and this one is just called 5, but I don't know if it's part 1 or part 2. You know, I will have to read through them. And then I got some single issues, so they look a little bit more like a regular magazine thinness, and the pages are quite a bit wider, as you can see. But this says part 4, number 5, part 5, 3, and part 5, 6. So, you know, that was a big exciting moment when I saw these in the box. I was completely unaware of them. They're in pretty good condition. Definitely something that I will be looking for more issues to fill in my collection at a future date. I definitely need to have the complete series of Nausicaa in single issues. Like, that's something that has to happen. So definitely we'll be looking at more single issues in the year. So those are all of the single issues that I got off of eBay. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm particularly happy about the Nausicaa titles. I have an early edition of Viz, like a bind up Nausicaa, but I hadn't had any of these single issues of Nausicaa before, and I think that's pretty cool. Like, you know, totally was a payoff for me, just for those titles alone, so I'm really, really happy about that. And there's some other really cool titles that I'm happy to have, like Legend of Kamui and My the Psychic Girl, which are both really early, if not the first 2 titles that came over to North America. So really, really, really happy with this haul. I think it's kind of a fun thing. What I want to know from you, though, is do you collect single issues, you know, that are not North American comics? Or, you know, do you collect North American comics that are single issues? Because I know that you can buy them in single and then they get, you know, bound up in, you know, graphic novels or trades, I guess they're called. And you can read them that way. So what are your thoughts on single issues? Like, if manga was coming over here as single issues, would you buy the single issue? Like, is that something that you would be into? Because I think that I don't see too many single issues these days, but I think there's a handful. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I think there's a handful that do come over as single issues, but I know right at the very start they came over as single issues, and it makes sense because, you know, this is a format we were already really familiar with here in North America, and so why not produce manga in the same way that you would produce comic books? Like, it would kind of seamlessly integrate into our own traditions of graphic sequential storytelling. Yeah, so I'm just really interested if anybody else is collecting single issues or what your thoughts are on single issues in manga, and would you buy them if that was how manga came over to North America? If they came over the same way that comic books, you know, like superhero comics, are produced in North America. Like, would you actually buy the single issues and then the trade, or would you, like, just go to the trade, or would you only buy an omnibus, or would you only buy digital? Like, what is your preference? I personally really like the single issue. I just think there's something kind of heartwarming and romantic, like, not, yeah, okay, there's something nostalgic about a single issue comic, so I'm really happy about it. I am gonna have to go out and buy a ton of boards and bags now because I can't, you know, protect any of these comics, not that they're, you know, in pristine condition, but yeah, I'm gonna do that next. And anyway, that was it for my haul for November. Now we can move on to my December haul, which is also large. Might be a 2-parter. We will see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next one. Bye for now.